I'm coming to you live from downtown Tribeca, where the real deal dopest party's at. Tonight I'm standing outside of Club Vinyl, where our guest DJ rips the crowd into a frenzy every Sunday afternoon through Sunday night. DJ Danny Krivit in the house of Spin Cycle. This is your invitation to the underground.
Let the bass kick.
As I got more into it, I realized that not only I had a big following of my own there, I was really playing what I like to play, wide variety music. It's kind of like sunlight. You feel it from the crowd. You close your eyes and you feel it.
You still look young, man. You look good. You look vibrant. What do you got? Is DJing the fountain of youth, or you just love what you do?
Both. Yeah, it definitely has helped. Yeah, I definitely feel younger for being involved. I know if I stopped, the aging process would happen a lot quicker.
For a DJ whose career has spanned nearly 4 decades, Danny Krivit is one of the best-kept secrets in the club scene today. Highly respected by his peers, Danny has kept a low profile, choosing artistic freedom over the pursuit of fame. Danny grew up in the artistic bohemia that was Greenwich Village in the 1960s. His mother was a jazz singer and his father was the manager of legendary jazz great Chet Baker until he opened the village hotspot, the Ninth Circle. As a boy, Danny used to hang and work for his father and get to rub up against the likes of John Lennon, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Charles Mingus. His earliest musical influence were family neighbors, the mothers of invention, and entrepreneurial wizard Sid Bernstein, whose hot act at the time, the Rascals, used to practice their top hits just down the hall. One of Danny's best friends, producer Nile Rodgers of Chic fame, encouraged Danny to play guitar and to pursue his musical career.
You knew or met Nile Rodgers early on in his career.
At the time, he was, a few years older than me, and he was a Black Panther. And so every time I saw him, he was totally, everything he was talking about was militant. Thought I was cool, but basically, I always saw him in fatigues, and the idea of, he was definitely a good guitarist then.
Right.
But he was more into, the real pioneers of guitar, and he didn't like commercial music at all. I think it was like 77 or around there, 78, at a disco convention. Dance, 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 it just came out, his first single.
Huge.
And he was glad to see me and, recognized me right off. So I'm coming towards him. I could just tell in his face, like he just had this look like, oh, wait a minute, this guy's from the neighborhood. I'm a sellout, like he was just. I'm wearing a $400 suit. Like, what's he think of me, And he's trying to play it all down, and I was just like, no, man, I'm proud of you, man. I like this.
Were you playing a lot of his songs then, like when they came out?
Well, he didn't have a lot yet. That was his first single for Chic.
Right.
But every time I saw him after that, we were very close, so he would always, like come up to me and, rekindle what we had and, bring me a new record or introduce me to the art. In the 80s, every time I saw him, he was, working with a new artist.
Right.
Like, I bump into him and he's with Diana Ross,
right.
And,
Cyndi Lauper.
And, or whoever, and he just always working with somebody.
The vice president of Polydor Records introduced Danny to James Brown. The Godfather of Soul gave Danny his first white label promo-only copy of Get on the Good Foot and Think by Lynn Collins.
Fellow who lived above me was vice president of Polydor Records. When I got around to go visiting him at his office, it wasn't a big time for Polydor. And his whole floor of the building, which was his office originally, he kind of, James Brown was happening, about the only thing happening for Polydor at the time. He had to give up the whole floor to James Brown and take James Brown's little office in the corner as his office. And when I came up, I could tell he was a little embarrassed, you know, like that I picked that time to come up. And but once I was there, it was like, well, he better show me around, you know, the whole thing. So he's really showing me around James Brown's office.
Here's what used to be my office now.
And yeah, well, I might as well introduce you to the man. He's wearing the white outfit that he's wearing on the cover of this Get on the Goodfoot record. And I didn't think nothing at the time, but I, you know, said I was a DJ and everything, and was a fan of his. And he said, well, let me give you these couple of new releases I got. And he gave me the album, and it was like he's wearing the same outfit. I got a kick out of that. And
did you do a double take?
Yeah, it just really put me in awe. And also the fact that it was the first time I really understood there was a promo copy, you know, given to me like as a DJ. It was a white label. I was always used to a red label with James Brown's face on it, and here it was in white. It was like I never seen that before.
Right.
And he gave me a copy of this new album by Lynn Collins, and its song was called Think. And that was kind of a pre-release. It wasn't coming out for a while, and I fell in love with that. And between the two records, I just got this new rush of like, you know, this is what I want to get into. Like, I really believe in this. I just, you know, lost myself in it.
It was then he knew he was destined to be a professional DJ. In 1974, Danny's father opened a new night spot called Ones, and Danny began spinning there. It was a great success, and Danny was inspired to open his own after-hours club. Whenever Danny wasn't spinning, he'd be checking out the best DJs of the day. Nicky Ciano at the Gallery, Walter Gibbons at Galaxy 21, David Rodriguez at the original Limelight on Sheridan Square, and David Mancuso at the Loft. 99 Prince Street, aka The Loft, was unique in that it housed the original record pool, the place where all DJs would get the newest unreleased records, and it became a mecca for DJs. There, Danny began a long-time friendship with the legendary DJ Larry Levan and his current Sunday partner, Francois K. In 1977, Danny was spinning at Trudy Heller's, and during the day, Danny and future girlfriend Daphne Rubin Vega would roller skate over to the Paradise Garage, where Larry Levan would turn them on to the latest records. In December of '79, Danny played the opening of the Roxy and became the house DJ there for 5 years.
When I started Roxy, the big thing was that the owner really had his hand on the music a lot, and it wasn't a groove, and it was very hard to even please the crowd under his rule. And what happened was, on the one night a week he wasn't there on Mondays, it was dead. It was like 30, 50 people, you know, and behind his back I was like just doing what I wanted to do, and before you know it, the night was like 1,000 people, and which totally eclipsed the other nights. And one of the things about the roller rink, I never really took it that seriously when I started. It was fun, but I always thought of it as, you know, the clubs and, oh, that's a roller rink.
Right.
And as I got more into it, I realized that not only I had a big following of my own there, but I was really playing what I like to play, wide variety of music, and before that, I don't think I really understood the groove as well.
How did your style work well with roller skating?
I was always kind of a funky DJ, so you know, as opposed to hard house and hard, you know, music,
right.
My favorite stuff lent itself to that.
While in the early 80s, the Roxy was the home for the best hip-hop DJs of the day, like DST, Africa Bambaataa, Red Alert, and Grandmaster Flash. Heavily influenced by the hip-hop flavor, he got the nickname Danny Rocks, as he was one of the first few white DJs who could scratch.
Back in Roxy time and everything, you were like the first, if not like one of the only, funky white DJs. You actually scratched back before really any white DJs
I doubt if I was the first or
Right.
the only,
Right.
but I was definitely one of the few.
Right.
And I was definitely one of the few that was respected by these guys who I still think are the pioneers and the best ones that were around.
Right.
You know, whether it was DST or Bombada or,
Right.
or Flash, they all gave me props, and it was a good feeling.
Right. You're working with some of the funkiest, heaviest DJs of the time, and you know they're looking at you and they're going, "Yo, hell, this white guy can get down. He can throw down."
They
he
were
can
definitely
scratch."
surprised. They were like, yo, hey! Oh.
Did they have a moment?
Yeah, you
They
know.
walk in, they're like, what if they didn't know you? They're like listening to music and they go, wow,
Well, the
this kid-
good thing about it was that they already knew me and liked me personally.
Right.
Like, I wasn't a threat personally to them, because if they didn't, I think right away they would have been hostile towards me, like, oh, I see. Oh, they get a white kid to do the job. They don't need us, you know,
Right.
you know, like that thing. And they didn't take it that way. They knew I wasn't really looking for their job,
Right.
you know, and I gave them a lot of props.
The rest of the 80s decade had Danny Rocks playing 4 to 6 nights a week at such clubs as Amazon, Area, Bar Boy, Danceteria, the China Club, Cafe Iguana, Private Eyes, Nels, Red Zone, Save the Robots, Studio 54, Tracks, The Tunnel, and The World, and even a guest spot at the historic Paradise Garage.
That was a highlight, no matter when I was there, because
Right, that's always a highlight.
from the first time that I went there till its closing, it was about a 10-year run. That was a major influence on me, and Larry Levan himself was. I was fortunate enough, you know, to be really close to Larry, and through that he let me play a few times. And one time was, you know, an actual booking where I was on the bill.
Larry liked you.
Yeah, he liked me as a person, but he also, I felt he respected what I was like musically. He was, you know, I'm gonna go down and dance, like, you know, play some records for a little while.
Right.
I really was playing different than the other guys, a lot funkier, and, you know, I was bringing new music, but it wasn't just the new song that came out that week. It was some songs just that people hadn't heard, you
Right.
know, recent, but the song in particular I played, I Want to Thank You, Alicia Myers. I've been telling Larry about it for a while. It was a big roller skating record.
Right.
And I felt that he would get into it, but you can't really tell Larry what to play. You have to kind of turn him on to something. So when I played it, he came running over like, you know, what is this record? You know, I'm really into this record. And I said, this is the one I've been trying to tell you about. And after that, I noticed he started pumping it.
Right.
And I guess right about that time, Frankie Crocker was milking him for whatever hot music he could get out of the garage. From Larry playing it, put it on WBLS, and it really became a staple. I mean, it's a big, you know, kind of favorite.
Right.
And that's one of the few songs I can say, you know,
You broke it.
yeah, that was an important thing that I did.
You broke that record.
Yeah.
They should be sending you royalty checks, man.
Well,
How do you know when you're spinning? How do you know when you're in the zone? Or even when you're remixing? How do you know when you fit that spot when you went, yep, here I am?
it's kind of like sunlight. I mean, you feel it from the crowd. You close your eyes and you feel it. It was a good feeling to have that confidence, right?